Hello everyone and welcome back. Now we are almost at the end of the year. It is almost 2023. I have no idea where this year went. I thought I would compile a list of my favorite things that I have used this year on bikepacking trips and just cycling around Atlanta. So let's just go ahead and dive into it. And the first thing on my list is a Chrome Industries Cadet Sling bag. This is a bag that I haven't really mentioned on my channel at all, but it is something that I use almost every single day, and I bring it on a lot of rides, and I also use it as kind of an everyday carry to go to the gym and whatnot and do kind of errands around town. This is a crossbody bag, and there are a couple of features that I really like about it, which make me go for this bag other than like a couple of other bags that I have. And one of those things is that it has a stabilizer strap so that when you put it and it's like strapped across your chest, it's not going to roll around or shift in a way that's going to get in the way of like handling or just going to be annoying by getting in the way of your arms. Something else I really like about this bag is that there is a reflective strip on the back. Now, not all of Chromed Cadet sling bags have these, but I got this specifically because I knew I was going to be riding at night with it occasionally, and I also knew that I might ride on a motorcycle with it, so I thought that it would be really good to have like some kind of reflective component to this bag from the back. When you open the bag, it's kind of just a big empty space. There's not a lot of like organization in it, but I actually really like this because I typically put like my gym shoes or a pair of clothes or an extra jacket, often to a snack or a water bottle. And so I like that there aren't like a lot of little compartments in there and I can just stuff everything in there. That's not necessarily for everyone, but it does work for me and how I use this bag. And that's why it's one of my favorite things that I've bought this year, and I use it all the time. The second thing on my list is the Old Man Mountain Divide Rack. I took this on a multi-day bikepacking trip along with some panniers that are made by North Street Bags, and I really enjoyed using it. This was a trip where I needed to bring a lot of stuff and I needed something really reliable to carry it all. I threw the divide rack on the back of my bike and it performed beautifully. This is a rack that is going to be a go-to for me whenever I go on longer trips or when I need to carry a bunch of stuff again. It did get a little bit scratched in the process. However, I will say that with the caveat that I tend to destroy everything that I use on the bike. It just gets worn, and I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but nothing that I touch ever looks pristine again. So this is a rack that I think is super reliable, super good price point. I also have a review of this rack and I will put it up here and in the description below. The next piece of gear on my list is the Outer Shell Mini Saddle Bag. Now, I run this on my single speed that I ride around town. It's this like tiny little saddle bag. I got it in leopard print to contrast the matte black of my state bicycle, and I think that it looks fabulous. Inside of this, I put everything that I need for like a tire repair or a quick repair. I have a tube, a tire lever, a CO2 thingy, and what else do I have in there? I have like all the stuff that you need to, and a wrench thing. I have a wrench in there too. You know, all of the stuff that you need to change a tire. I will say that I am terrible at changing tires, and I have had to use this kit once, and it went really well. The only downside to this is that it doesn't fit a small pump. I wish that it was like a slightly bit longer, but that's okay. The CO2 does the trick. And yeah, it's a great bag. It's a great little bag and it's super unobtrusive, and I just leave it on the bike. In addition to that, I also use an Ottolock. I wrap it around the saddle bag and I keep that on my bike so that anywhere I go, if I'm just grabbing coffee or just running to the grocery store, running an errand, I can just quickly lock up the bike and the lock is just already on there on the bike. I really hate carrying around a bike lock because they tend to be really heavy and cumbersome. This isn't really a foolproof bike lock. You could probably cut through it with a pair of good scissors or good pliers or something very sharp. But the point is that you're deterring a quick theft of your bicycle. And this is the lightest bike lock one of the lightest bike locks out there, and I think that it works really well for that purpose. And I keep it on my bike all the time. It's really convenient. It's always there, and I never have to worry about remembering to bring my bike lock. The next thing on my list is something else that I keep on my single speed bike, and that is the Apidura 1 liter racing top tube pack. I also did a review on this earlier in the year. I'll put it up here and then in the description below if you want to check it out. This is a really nice top tube pack that Apidura sent me, and I am a huge fan. It fits my phone, a couple of snacks, and my keys and my wallet, and it always stays on my bike. It's waterproof. I've had no issues with it. And something I really like about it is it has a magnetic closure, so I don't have to fiddle with zippers or Velcro or anything like that. So if I need something on the bike, I can just grab it really quickly and close it just as fast. Also, if you've made it this far in the video, thank you. And also, please subscribe and help me get to 10,000 followers sometime in 2023. So moving on from like cycling things in general, the next couple of items are more bike packing. So the first thing on my bike packing list of things that I like this year is the Sea to Summit Thermalite Reactor Extreme Sleeping Bag Liner, which is a mouthful. But essentially it's a nice sleeping bag liner that adds supposedly up to 25 degrees Fahrenheit of warmth to your sleeping bag. I have used this both as a liner and as a summer sleeping bag, and it does not disappoint. I would say that this is probably my favorite piece of gear that I have purchased all year long. It weighs about a pound, it packs up really small, and for a summer sleeping bag for like 70 degrees and above, oh man, it is the best because it's really compact, and so you don't have to stuff like a massive down bag into your bike packing bags. It just you can just like throw it in your frame pack or whatever. It's fabulous. Anyway, this is probably one of my favorite pieces of gear that I purchase all year long, and I will probably use it on most of my bike packing and camping trips in general from here on out. Okay, next thing. On last year's favorite gear of the year video list, I talked about the Thermarest Pro Light pad, which is a self-inflating pad. It's my first sleeping pad I ever bought. It's like this big. It's really massive. It's very comfortable, but I took the plunge and decided to buy a Nemo Tensor, and I have been converted. I will say I've like sung the praises of the self-inflating pad, but the benefits of having a really compact pad that is really light outweighs all of that and everything that I said about the Pro Light pad. Still a great pad. It's just massive and bulky and heavy. My biggest issue with a lot of inflatable pads is that they're very noisy. And the Nemo Tensor is like a little noisy. It's not completely silent, but it isn't going to wake you up at night, which is what happened to me when I have used other inflatable pads. So that's all to say, I really like the Nemo Tensor. It's probably the most comfortable night of sleep I've had out in the wilderness. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I really love it. I think it's a great sleeping pad. The next thing on my list is a Sea to Summit long spork. Now, I have been using a Toaks foldable spoon that I keep in my cook kit. It's great for a lot of reasons, mostly because it's really compact. But I'm finding that I just really like having a longer spoon, especially for dehydrated meals, so you can get like really down in the bag and get all the food without getting your hands full of residue from the inside of the bag. So I picked up one day this Sea to Summit long-handled spoon, and I really like it. It's really nice. It doesn't fit in my cook kit, but I am willing to make that sacrifice not to get my hands completely dirty when I'm eating. So the last thing on my list is not necessarily a thing or a piece of gear, but it's a bike. And it is my State Bicycle Black Label V2. I have made a couple of videos about this bike and how much I love it. And I fucking love this bike. It's so fun and zippy. This was like an impulse purchase this year. I was really sad one day and in my feelings, and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy myself a bicycle. And so I decided to buy this one. And honestly, it was worth it. You know, sometimes shopping therapy backfires, but this did not backfire. It's been great. It's been great. I love this bike. I ride it around town. This is like my daily driver, the bike that I like grab first if I'm riding around town. I can bring it really easily on a train. I don't mind leaving it somewhere. I feel like really good about navigating all of Atlanta's like weird potholed streets on it. I love this bike, and it's probably one of my favorite things that I have bought all year long. And I would highly recommend if you're looking for a single speed or a fixie. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this was useful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and also let me know what your favorite pieces of gear that you have used this year are. I would love to hear from you guys. If you like this content and want to see more, be sure to subscribe, like the video, etc., and I will see you guys next week.